As these are old mowers, it would be very nice to have the blades properly sharpened, and the correct way to do that is professionally sharpened, I mean, is to take the cylinders out and have them sent away to be reground. There's no one local, and there's far too many cowboys out there to hack away at them, so I've decided not to bother. The expense is one thing and taking them apart is another, so I've decided to lap them in. So I've made up a very simple little tool here. I've used what I've got. I've gone over the top with the size of motor. This is a 3rd horse power motor, but it's what I had, and I've simply bolted it down, coach bolts, onto a piece of wood. And here we have a 25-to-1 worm reduction gear. I've got 1 or 2 of those, they're very, very handy. And I've merely coupled the motor to the shaft of this with a piece of rubber hose, thick rubber hose, and 2 Jubilee clips either side of the hose. And I've staggered the nuts of the clips so that we don't have an imbalance. And it works very well. That's about the speed I want, and the rotation is correct. Now, what I've done here is, because I've got 2 different mowers, I've got 2 different sizes of nuts to turn, so I've put I've sacrificed a tool, one of these Tommy bar 1/2-inch things to fit those, and drilled it out the same size as the shaft and just tapped it on. So we've got a means of putting different size sockets on the end to accommodate any size of machine I come across. I've seen some quite elaborate arrangements where the shafts here are aligned with various wind up. I didn't think that was necessary. I keep it as plain as simple. I don't believe in over egging the pudding. Just simply a wooden wedge in this end will raise and lower this to the required height for the mower. I can now spot weld through the hole each side, and that's permanently on. That's what I would have done when I was younger. I tend to think things through a little bit more nowadays and save myself an awful lot of hassle. And because I might want to use this on another project. I might want to alter it. I might want to put the shaft coming out this way. I don't, but I might want to. So, and I don't want to have to cut that off and end up with a shorter shaft. So what I've done here, I've zoomed in a little bit. You can see I've drilled a hole in the middle, just an 1/8 hole, and I've tapped it. And then I've found myself a few washers that can be dropped in there. And then a nut, or a bolt I should say, dropped in on top and screwed up. Simple as that. And now it's fixed to the end of the shaft, tightly, securely, won't come off. But if I ever need this again, I've only got to undo that, haven't I? Okay then, looking at some various YouTubes, mainly from the States, you guys seem to be able to get great big tubs of grinding paste. You have more resources over there, I'm sure, because here in the UK, I've had a quick look on eBay and so forth, and all we've got is small tins and quantities of grinding paste, primarily intended for the automotive industry, for grinding in valves and such like. But that product is basically carborundum with a petroleum based or oil medium, and I don't want this. I want something which is completely and utterly soluble. I want to be able to hose it off after the operation, and I don't want the slightest hint of food grains possibly finding their way into the cylinder end bearings and so forth. So I want something completely and utterly soluble. I can buy various grits and carbides loose. So I'll have to make up my own paste. Any suggestions, ideas? I haven't given this a lot of thought yet, but anyway, don't tell me what you think. I'll give it some thought.